Now, some background here. Argentina has been struggling to stabilize its currency. The peso fell sharply last month after President Milei's party lost a provincial election. Now, that sparked doubts about his ability to carry out key economic reforms. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent responded to Argentina's acute illiquidity by buying pesos. He also announced the $20 billion currency swap with Argentina's central bank. Maria Victoria Murillo is the director of the Institute for Latin American Studies at Columbia University, and she joins me now. And you've been watching this very closely, I'm sure, in the last few hours as well. In your opinion, is Milei and the Argentine economy in trouble, because of this political polarization? Because at this point in time, Donald Trump really was blunt about this, right? We need to get the legislative majority for Milei, because if we don't, those economic reforms have no chance of passing.
So Trump it's right that if the government doesn't get a strong majority, it would be very hard to pass any kind of reform, because it has currently a very small delegation in Congress. It is also true that the comments of President Trump had already affected the value of the Argentine shares, given that the surveys, although we know we have to take surveys with a grain of salt, so far don't look so positive for President Milei's coalition in the legislative elections. So it seems hard to think that he would be able to have a pretty strong victory as it was expected a few months ago. So in that sense, the comment of President Trump caused some fear of those who think that he might get maybe a third of the vote or a little bit more, and that would not be sufficient for shoring up the reforms.
Now, why do you believe the Trump administration has taken such an interest in Milei's political fortunes here, and obviously the economic fortunes of Argentina?
I think that Secretary Bessent was probably the crucial person here. When the IMF gave a huge loan to the Milei administration, he came to Argentina for just a few hours to be there when the loan was announced. And this is a 12 or 11-hour flight, so it's not such an easy task. And Donald Trump seemed to deflect President Trump a lot of the questions that were specific about Argentina to Secretary Bessent. So this seems to be driven by his own interest in Argentina. And he has personal connections with people in the economic team of President Milei. And so that might be part of the reasons that are linking him so clearly to Argentina. There's also the cost for U.S. investors if Argentina defaults once again, as it had done several times. So those might be some of the reasons. Certainly, they don't seem so geopolitically connected, because China has a space base in Patagonia. And there was a question about the base and about the swap that China has with Argentina. And the government, like both President Trump and Secretary Bessent, did not seem to take the question on the base. And they say there was no need to repay China the swap, so that those connections need not be severed.
Well, certainly we do believe that the midterm elections now have even more import globally, especially in the United States. They were already a crucial test for Argentina itself. We'll watch with interest at the end of October. Maria Murillo, thank you so much. Appreciate it.